Few people recognize how much their emotional patterns are shaped by repetition, how every connection, every failed bond, leaves invisible traces that redefine how they approach closeness. The modern world normalizes constant movement between relationships. What once required depth has become routine. What once carried gravity now feels ordinary. And the cost of this repetition is rarely visible on the surface. It appears in subtle changes, the way someone touches, listens, trusts, or avoids. Those who understand psychology through the lens of Stoicism know that emotions adapt to experience. A person repeatedly exposed to intimacy without continuity begins to rewrite what connection means. The meaning of closeness shifts from bonding to interaction. The body learns the form. The mind stops assigning significance. 1. The fading edge of novelty. In every healthy connection, there is a natural hesitation, that quiet space where two people test emotional safety before stepping closer. It is not fear, but respect for what intimacy represents. When that hesitation disappears, something deeper has been altered. The unfamiliar has become procedural. A person who has cycled through many relationships often develops a fluency in closeness. They can adapt, touch, flirt, and reveal just enough to simulate depth. But beneath that, there is detachment. Intimacy begins to resemble a practiced performance, precise, convincing, but empty of real vulnerability. This loss of novelty dulls anticipation. The emotional charge that once made connection meaningful turns into familiarity. Physical comfort remains, but emotional tension, the space where trust grows, is gone. What used to require courage becomes a routine gesture. Stoicism would call this desensitization, the reduction of feeling through overexposure. It's not moral decay, it's psychological adaptation. When the same experience repeats without permanence, the nervous system learns to conserve energy. Attachment feels risky, so the mind treats connection as a temporary event. 2. Emotional walls as self-defense. Repetition without resolution builds barriers. Each failed or shallow bond teaches a subtle lesson. Do not fully invest. Over time, the instinct to protect the self overrides the instinct to merge. Someone who has lived this pattern can appear open, yet remain distant. They might laugh, share, and even comfort, but there is a limit that cannot be crossed. Their emotions operate within a controlled perimeter. Vulnerability, once spontaneous, becomes filtered. In conversation, this shows as polite disengagement, responses that sound warm but carry no depth. You can reveal something painful, and they'll respond with empathy that feels memorized. They participate, but they don't expose. The act of being known becomes unsafe. This is not cruelty, it's conditioning. Every emotional injury reinforces the lesson that attachment equals loss. So they build a quiet fortress inside, where no one can touch the real self. Relationships remain active, but connection stays shallow. From a Stoic view, this represents apatheia gone wrong, emotional control misapplied. Instead of mastery over emotion, it becomes avoidance of emotion. The wall that once protected now isolates. 3. The search for validation. When emotional depth fades, external affirmation replaces inner grounding. The person starts measuring worth through the reflection of others. Attention becomes the currency of reassurance. This is not gendered. Both men and women fall into it. The difference lies in form, not function. Some collect admiration through charm or appearance, others through success or approval. The mechanism is identical, an endless loop of validation designed to fill the silence left by detachment. Their social circles often mirror this imbalance. Many superficial connections, few genuine ones. Relationships built on feedback rather than foundation. Every compliment or text provides a brief sense of meaning, but it evaporates quickly, demanding another hit. This constant externalization erodes the ability to bond deeply. Validation from many replaces commitment from one. The more attention they gather, the less any single connection can matter. Stoically speaking, this is enslavement to passion, dependence on impressions rather than virtue. A person chasing constant approval loses their anchor. They no longer choose relationships for shared values, but for the temporary high of recognition. 4. Closeness as leverage. Once intimacy loses its original weight, it often shifts from expression to instrument. Closeness, emotional or physical, becomes a means to an end. People start using affection to negotiate outcomes, control behavior, or secure comfort. In this stage, connection turns transactional. Acts of warmth appear, but they serve a purpose. One partner might offer affection to avoid conflict. Another withholds it to assert dominance. It's a subtle form of manipulation disguised as care. This is not inherent malice, but learned efficiency. When genuine trust feels unsafe, control becomes the next available tool. If the person has seen affection weaponized before, they internalize the method. Intimacy turns into strategy. For the recipient, this dynamic is corrosive. Genuine gestures lose meaning. Doubt creeps in. Every moment of affection is analyzed. Is this real or calculated? Over time, suspicion replaces comfort, and the relationship decays from within. Stoicism reminds that virtue demands intention. Using closeness to control others corrupts both giver and receiver. Authentic connection cannot coexist with concealed agendas. 5. The skill of emotional reading. Repeated exposure to different relationships cultivates pattern recognition. A person who's navigated many emotional environments learns how people respond, their triggers, desires, and fears. This can evolve into a heightened intuition, the ability to read emotions with uncanny accuracy. At first, this seems admirable: empathy, understanding, adaptability. But without moral discipline, it can become manipulation. The person knows precisely how to speak, when to pull away, when to praise, and when to withhold. Every reaction becomes a lever. Such precision creates the illusion of compatibility. The partner feels profoundly understood. But what's happening is performance, emotional strategy refined by repetition. Each gesture is calculated to maintain influence. From a Stoic standpoint, this is techne without virtus, skill without moral purpose. Understanding another's psychology is powerful, but when it's used for control rather than harmony, it corrodes character. The tragedy here is subtle. Those who master emotional manipulation often lose the ability to experience genuine intimacy themselves. Control replaces connection. Prediction replaces presence. 6. Detachment from the past. When people grow accustomed to transient relationships, they often normalize impermanence. The past stops carrying emotional consequence. They speak of former partners or experiences with detachment, not necessarily cruelty, but indifference. They describe intimate chapters as if recounting logistics. The stories lack emotional charge. To them, it's history, not memory. And while this might seem like resilience, it often signals emotional exhaustion. The self stops attaching meaning to what once mattered. In conversation, this manifests as humor about past failures, or an insistence that nothing left a mark. Beneath that laughter sits numbness, the quiet belief that attachment always ends in loss. From a Stoic lens, detachment from outcome is healthy, but detachment from meaning is decay. The past should inform, not vanish. When someone feels nothing toward what once shaped them, it's not peace, it's emotional amnesia. 7. Cycles of short-lived bonds. Repetition crystallizes into pattern. For some, every relationship follows the same script: fast intensity, rapid familiarity, emotional fatigue, quiet withdrawal, and replacement. The cycle feeds itself. New beginnings offer stimulation, maintenance feels dull. Once the novelty fades, the person misreads stability as stagnation and moves on. Each breakup confirms their fear of boredom. Each new start provides temporary relief. This pattern erases depth. Bonds never mature beyond the initial phase of chemistry. Conflict resolution never develops. Patience never strengthens. Loyalty never grows. Every ending occurs before growth begins. Over time, even the excitement of starting over diminishes. The heart becomes efficient, but empty, able to engage quickly, detach faster, and forget completely. A Stoic would view this as the soul's restlessness, the inability to stay present in one commitment because the self has been fragmented across too many transient pursuits. Stability demands endurance, not novelty, and endurance is a virtue forged through repetition of discipline, not repetition of escape. 8. The psychological cost of overexposure. Every intimate connection rewires the brain. Dopamine, oxytocin, and memory circuits all adapt to the presence and absence of another person. When these bonds are repeatedly formed and broken, the nervous system adjusts by blunting its sensitivity. This is why individuals with a long history of brief attachments often report emotional fatigue. They can participate, but struggle to feel. Their nervous system has learned emotional economy: conserve energy, expect impermanence. The cost is subtle: a gradual decline in empathy and an increasing reliance on control or distraction. Emotional vulnerability feels like weakness. Commitment feels like risk. Stoicism teaches detachment from external validation, but not from genuine feeling. The wise do not suppress emotion, they understand it. When overexposure numbs the self, wisdom is replaced by indifference. 9. Recognition and responsibility. Awareness of these patterns is not for judgment, but for recognition. Every person carries the sum of their choices. Understanding how repetition reshapes emotional structure is the first step to reclaiming agency. The Stoic response to this awareness is not withdrawal, but correction. Instead of blaming others or oneself, the goal is to rebuild virtue, to reteach the mind what connection truly means. For those who have lived many transient relationships, restoration begins with abstaining from novelty and relearning patience. Stillness must replace stimulation. Reflection must precede pursuit. Emotional discipline requires that you stop chasing the high of beginning and start enduring the weight of continuation. Connection must again become sacred, not in a moral sense, but in a psychological one. When attachment regains meaning, the self stabilizes. 10. Restoring depth. Rebuilding emotional capacity after repetition demands deliberate restraint. The mind must unlearn the association between intimacy and control, affection and transaction, novelty and worth. This restoration begins in solitude. Solitude recalibrates emotional thresholds. It teaches the nervous system to find peace without constant interaction. Only through quiet reflection can one observe the fragments left by past experiences and integrate them into coherent identity. Once solitude becomes tolerable, connection can return. Slowly, deliberately, with full awareness of boundaries. Real intimacy is not instant. It matures through mutual discipline. In Stoic practice, this is the alignment of logos, reason, and pathos, emotion. When a person approaches relationship through virtue, honesty, patience, fidelity, respect, attachment regains its weight. The self no longer seeks validation, but resonance. 11. The mirror of behavior. Behavior never lies. Regardless of what someone claims, patterns expose truth. Repetition reveals programming. When you observe another person's way of handling closeness, you are witnessing their emotional history. Do they rush connection or protect it? Do they engage deeply or avoid vulnerability? Do they treat affection as gift or currency? These patterns are not random. They are psychological records written in action. To perceive them correctly, one must observe without judgment. Stoicism demands impartiality. See what is, not what you wish to be. When you detach from desire, perception sharpens. The behaviors that once appeared mysterious become transparent. This awareness prevents misplaced investment. You cannot build stability on patterns that resist it. Understanding this truth spares years of confusion and disappointment. 12. The Stoic reconstruction of love. The Stoic approach to love is not sentimental, it's structural. It views connection as an arena for virtue, not indulgence. To love rightly means to align emotion with reason, to give without losing self, to attach without dependency. After many transient experiences, people must reconstruct this framework from the ground up. They must redefine what it means to value someone beyond attraction or utility. True affection arises when two individuals pursue virtue together. This reconstruction transforms the purpose of relationship. It stops being about emotional security and becomes about moral partnership. Each supports the other's discipline, clarity, and peace. In such a bond, repetition ends. The cycle breaks. Novelty is replaced by growth. 13. Lessons in silence. The most revealing signs of emotional fatigue are found in silence. The quiet moments when conversation stops, and presence alone determines connection. A person comfortable in silence with another has relearned intimacy. One who constantly seeks distraction has not. Silence tests authenticity. It exposes whether closeness is real or performative. In Stoic practice, silence is sacred because it mirrors the state of the soul. Those who can sit quietly together without tension have transcended performance. The restoration of emotional depth begins there, in quiet recognition, where nothing needs to be proven and nothing is taken. 14. Moving forward without repetition. Breaking emotional cycles requires more than awareness. It requires new discipline. That discipline consists of 3 principles: patience, boundary, and honesty. Patience resists the urge to accelerate intimacy. It allows time to reveal character. Boundary protects against self-betrayal, ensuring that affection does not exceed alignment. Honesty eliminates manipulation, making every connection transparent. Applied consistently, these principles rebuild trust in oneself and others. The mind learns again that connection can exist without fear, and affection can coexist with respect. 15. Closing, understanding. Human attachment is neither weak nor shameful. It is the medium through which the soul learns balance. But when attachment becomes impulsive, repeated, and shallow, it dulls the capacity for depth. Every person who has lived through many unsteady bonds carries scars, not visible, but present in how they give, withdraw, or remain indifferent. Those scars are not permanent if faced with awareness. Stoicism teaches that the past cannot be undone, but can be understood. Understanding transforms regret into instruction. Through that instruction, one rebuilds the ability to feel without losing control. The silent lesson is clear. Repetition without reflection destroys meaning. Reflection without repetition restores it. When connection is treated with discipline, it regains its gravity. In the end, emotional mastery is not about detachment from others, but detachment from compulsion. Once the mind ceases to chase and begins to choose, every bond, whether brief or lasting, becomes an act of virtue.